Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tellor Dev Call. Today is February 18th. We're doing it today because yesterday we were off. It was President's Day in the US. And I'm super excited because next week we're actually going to Denver. And it's one of the biggest conferences in the US that we go to. And it's a big deal for us in Tellor. So we hope to see you guys there. We have a booth, so stop by and say hi. And in other news, I guess, the Tellor Layer has been running now. It has been open to the public for at least a week now, and everything's running smoothly. So we can't wait for you guys to join the network, continue to test with us. And if you find anything, please by all means tell us on Discord. And with that, let's get started with, I don't know, what are you up to, Tim? Or we're up to?
Yeah, so I've been working on polishing like all these different Python tools that I've made for Layer. So the and it's now all under a CLI. The main function is a data relayer, but those same connections were useful for data scraping. And so yeah, I have this tool that there's a tip and relayer. There's just like a normal relayer. There's all this data scraping for seeing how many reporters are participating and submitting for different data. So yeah, I've been working on that. It works pretty well now. I, I, I think it's pretty cool. I can keep building that out. And then I'm continuing to just make sure the layer chain is working, make sure bridge data is being reported sufficiently, and just supporting layer.
By the way, you finished those ample tests, right?
Yeah, ample for tests,
Yeah, I remember you
working
had.
tests. Yes,
All right, cool. I know those were we wanted to add. Oh, cool. Thanks, Tim.
and liquidy.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you. Yeah, so we have the DVM, which is the monitor for disputable values that runs and you guys can access through our GitHub. But then Tim is working on other monitors to actually to also track the health of the network. So that's what he's talking about. All right, Akram.
Yeah, I'm working on Telliot issues. A lot of the APIs are not working, so I'm trying to fix them. Like, a bunch of things got deprecated, like CryptoWatch, Coinbase Pro, and Polynex. I mean, those are some that I can think of now. But so I'm trying to see if I can fix them. So that takes time to research what's working, what's not, especially for historical prices. Some of them are not working. But my main goal was how I started this was to try upgrade all the dependencies and also the Python version to use 3.12. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to finish that Telliot feeds and move over to Telliot core, which is less code based, so it should be less time. Hopefully today.
Awesome. So you guys remember that Tellor is running in parallel with, or Tellor Layer is running in parallel with Tellor, and so Telliot has to continue to be updated. We're also using that as our base for our reporter for Tellor Layer, and that's what Akram's been so hard at work at. Dan?
I've been going through each module's auto CLI files to make sure the layer CLI is accurate, and I've been updating the READMEs at the same time.
And addressing questions from the others.
Right. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Dan. All right. Ryan?
Yeah, I want to flesh out more of the data feed columns that we have on the Block Explorer. Chickamauga.tellor.io if you haven't checked it out. And then I'm going to start picking up on the YouTube shorts.
Thanks. And I left Spotty and Caleb at the end because I know we got a few questions from the public and they're going to pitch in on answering them. But if you guys want to talk really briefly about what you're working on, and then we'll jump into the questions. Spotty?
I'm just working. That's the stuff that I've been working on all morning anyway, just ops. basically.
Caleb?
Yeah. Still trying to just improve the reporter daemon so that it's never missing any reports that it can have. Monitoring the chain, seeing if there's any logs we need. If I have time this week, I'd really like to start drilling down on a Grafana dashboard that has some reporter stats. We could track like how the sources are doing and stuff like that. So yeah, and answering everybody's questions in the Discord if they ask any.
And then also maybe looking into how we can make our, or just Tellor Layer in general, be less bloated with the logs.
Yeah.
All right. Nick?
Yeah, not much. I posted a 3-chain deep dive last week, got a gen layer one, working on writing that one up right now. Go look into some AI blockchains, which is super fun. And then I'm gonna going over your article today and writing another article. And then just keep track of the code. So.
All right, Ryan, hit us with the questions.
All right. Let's see. From MWright, we got, do we know what the reporting/validating stake amounts will be yet for Layer?
I don't think we have absolutely settled on the amounts. We're supposed to do an analysis of it. Do we have that analysis done?
The question was about how much do they have to stake to be a reporter?
Yeah, so I think the answer for being a reporter, there's what's the minimum, like 1 TRV? Yeah, it's 1. So anybody can be a reporter basically. That one's easy. If you want to be a validator, so I think this goes into another question too. The way that we have validator selections is we're actually just a standard Cosmos chain on the validation side. So, and you get to pick how many validators you have. We have the top 100 validators by stake size. So basically, if you want to validate the chain, you bond these tokens, and then if you have the most tokens, one of the top 100 most amount of tokens, then you are an active validator. We don't know what that amount will be, that 100th slot. As far as what it is, usually it's pretty top heavy, and it goes down pretty quick. But we do expect those to all fill up. But don't worry, if you are not one of the top 100, you can always delegate your tokens to one of those top 100 guys and share in their rewards. So it's not necessarily the end of the road for you.
You can still participate no matter what. Yeah. And we only have 100 validators because that makes it easier for us to relay the data to other chains without making it super expensive. So, yeah. What else, Ryan?
And does it stand that we can join a pool of trusted reporter validators and get a piece of the rewards? That comes from Tamsy.
Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what to know though, just be careful delegating and selecting. As always, so like delegating your validator power isn't quite as risky. There's not a whole lot they can do. You know, they could potentially double sign, but what you want to look at is, so you can look at how much they themselves are staking. So if they're not staking anything and they're just validating with your power, they could potentially lose it all. Although they don't necessarily get anything out of it, but the real risk is selecting. So that's like delegating your reporting power to somebody. If you say like, okay, Tim, you can be a reporter on my behalf for my 100 tokens, Tim could potentially steal your tokens. He could report a bad value, dispute that bad value, and take your tokens. So you have to pick somebody that you trust. Usually most of the people are pretty well known in the space. So, you know, if you delegate to a large corporate validator with 10 tokens, they're probably not going to trash their reputation stealing your 10 tokens. But if you have a whole lot of money in tokens, don't give it to somebody you don't know or some anonymous address because they're a reporter. It's probably just bad idea. So make sure you're careful, as
You're
always.
delegating your tokens, you're delegating your trust. So
Yes.
yeah, you can do it, just be careful.
When
And then
we're on
we have
mainnet, we will. I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think when we're on mainnet, we'll get a pretty good idea pretty quickly of who the best validators are, probably. I don't know if we're going to endorse any validators, but it won't be hard to know which ones to delegate to, hopefully.
Then we have Oof, who says, just to clarify, are the 100 seats on validators a first come, first serve basis, or are they assigned by the largest stake? Can you elaborate on the selection process? Another question I have, will the reporters still require ETH for gas on Layer mainnet?
The easy question is it is the top 100 largest stakes that will be validators, and you have to pay ETH gas, so in ETH, and until that changes, you will need ETH for.
I think he said on Layer mainnet. So like there's no ETH over on Layer. So like you don't need to pay gas on Layer. You pay it with TRB.
You only need ETH to pay for the bridge deposit, and that's it.
Yeah. So like for those of you that don't know how it's going to work, right now all of the rewards are going to be distributed on Cosmos. So you're on Layer mainnet. So you're going to be, hopefully, if you're a validator or reporter, your balance is going up because you're reporting and running the software. However, our token is still over on Ethereum. So like we're not updating the token to be a Cosmos token. So like if you then take the TRB token and then go sell it on a SEX, you're going to have to bridge it, unstake your tokens, go and bridge them back to Ethereum, and then sell them. Transfer them to the exchange on that way. We're not like requiring the exchanges aren't going to switch over to being a Cosmos token. So that is how you'll have to get out. We do expect there will probably be Cosmos dexes that pop up and list TRB, but we're not in charge of setting that up, never have been. So yeah, I would expect something like that. So you will need ETH to pay gas to bridge it back.
Well, isn't that a transaction on? It's when they claim it. The transaction is on Ethereum. So on Layer, it's still TRB. So everything in Layer will be TRB based.
Yep.
So.
I want to make it clear you do have to pay gas to report on Layer.
Just in TRB.
Yes.
And then you have to claim your tips. So that was actually a question somebody else asked was, how do they see, they see their balance going down because they're paying gas. If you see in the reporter setup, you have to add variables to set how often you want it to automatically claim your rewards back into your wallet.
Maybe you guys are not claiming and you're seeing your rewards go or your balance go down, make sure you're claiming or you start claiming. All right, is that it?
One more. Do you have any plans to burn supply or something similar?
Not at this moment. We do have some burning events within the system. So anytime you tip, some of that tip gets burned. Whenever dispute gets initiated, some of that dispute fee gets burned. Are there any other spots, Nick?
No, that sounds good. But I can address the subtle implication he's making in there, which is wrong, which is that if we're burning supply, we're increasing the value of TRB. This is like, tokenomics 101, whatever they teach, but it's bad. Like we're printing tokens, we're inflating the supply because the idea is that we're actually growing the network. We're using this to incentivize security. We're doing this to incentivize ease of usage, and that overall is going to make the network more valuable. So it's a trade-off. It's not about how many you're burning or whatever like that. It's more important to actually grow this thing.
Nobody runs a chain for free.
Yeah. So.
All right, and with nobody runs the chain for free. Is
No,
that
I mean like what? No, I don't
No,
mean
not
like we're not running the chain.
It's the
There's a
report, the
decentralized
validators.
incentive.
Yeah, it's the validators. But yeah, they're not gonna run it if they don't get paid. So yeah, with that, is that the last question?
I believe so, unless there was another one, Spuddy, that
I
was in
already
a
did it.
channel.
No, I already did that one.
Okay.
All right.
Then
All right. Well, then we'll see you guys at December next week. We'll be kicking off our challenge next Monday. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And that's it for this week. See you next week.